Maybe we're asking the wrong question. It's not what jobs will AI take, it's should we even want a job anymore? For centuries, we've built society around this idea. Trade your time, energy and creativity for a paycheck. But what happens when machines can do it faster, cheaper and non-stop? If work is no longer about survival, then what's it for? And how can we rethink our lives, and of course education, to align more to how things are shaping up? Stick around for some more musings from me on this deep topic. Hi, Bianca Raby here, educator, CEO and deep thinker. I've always worked hard. Growing up in the country, I was working at 13, and I'd had half a dozen different jobs before I'd even left high school. And even before I decided to build my own company, I was dedicated to my employers and working hard to deliver value. I was one on the team that got done. But lately, I've been asking, is all this doing how I want to keep spending all my precious life force? Especially considering the doing that I do has me glued to a screen quite a lot. I also wonder that if I'm being supercharged by AI, all of my competitors are also, right? Is that not going to result in the same race to the bottom we have seen with other apparent time-saving devices? The bottom being that we no longer save time as we fill the white space with more to-dos. Ask any busy professional and the to-do list never ends. Side note, a book that completely changed my perspective on to-do lists and productivity is Oliver Burkeman's 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals. Here's a sneaky passage.
The day will never arrive when you finally have everything under control, when the flood of emails has been contained, when your to-do lists have stopped getting longer, when you're meeting all your obligations at work and in your home life, when nobody's angry with you for missing a deadline or dropping the ball, and when the fully optimized person you've become can turn, at long last, to the things life is really supposed to be about. Let's start by admitting defeat. None of this is ever going to happen. But you know what? That's excellent news.
Impactful and freeing, right? So back to my train of thought. As I have continued to question what work is, it's hard not to look at it philosophically. Is this exchange, my energy and attention for money, still worth it? A good friend of mine recently started engaging with a Burning Man-like community. The concept, if you haven't heard of it, is we're weak in the desert with no money to exchange. And of course, no business cards or LinkedIn connections either. Instead, just radical self-expression and gifting. You gift what you can and receive what's offered. And somehow it works. There's no transactions, just exchange of energy, attention, art and presence. Obviously I had heard of the big main event, but I didn't realise that there were smaller pop-up communities with this as their philosophy all over the place. And it makes me wonder, what if we stopped believing that we didn't need to earn our place on this planet? What if we just offered it organically? Ralph Waldo Emerson, an American essayist and lecturer, he wrote that each person is compensated in like manner for which he or she had contributed. He believes, along with many other deep thinkers, that you will always be compensated for the value you bring, whether immediately or eventually. It might come through money, love, recognition, peace, or growth. So, the universe or life balances giving and receiving. P.S. The law of compensation is another reinstatement of the law of sowing and reaping. So maybe the future of work isn't all about jobs the way we see them now. Maybe it's about contribution, alignment, purpose. Maybe a big percentage of us are meant to move from output to impact. AI is showing us just how much we've tied our identity to being productive, being useful, being needed. But what if our true value was never in our output, but in our essence? What if work isn't about proving you're worthy and climbing a never-ending ladder of arbitrary success metrics anymore, with each rung bringing more emails and more meetings and more stress? What if we created a world where rest, creativity, honing our natural talents and connection, caring for others was the work? By the way, I'm not saying that we should disregard the need for money, but what I am saying is that maybe that more and more of these tasks get automated and some of our things become obsolete, that we should rethink this entire exchange. And therefore, rethink the story we tell our young people. Just like how the baby boomers gave us Gen Ys a very misleading story that real estate is the safest investment ever. Nope, it was for you, but not for the majority of us. So let's think about the story we as educators are telling the Gen Zs and the Alphas. Instead of training them for a job, how about we spend more time helping them find their unique humanness? So here's my question for you. In a world where machines can do a lot of the doing, what do you want your being to offer? Let's talk about the future of work not as a list of careers, but as a collective reimagining. Subscribe if you're ready to unlearn the hustle and build something more human. And until next time, stay awesome.